Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a DIY Dollar Tree burlap memory board. We're going to use this piece of art that is available now. Some of the Dollar Tree burlap, but you can also get it at Walmart. Some craft paper from the Dollar Tree, but you can paint as an option. You're also going to need these mini clothespins from the Dollar Tree, as well as some jute and your gluing device. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you that we're going to wrap this this board in craft paper. Now, if you've been around for a while, I have the monogram wall art that actually was made with the canvas with the animal prints on them. Now, if I had option to get those canvases again, I would have been able to just use thumbtacks, which is what the inspiration piece on Pinterest had. It had upholstery tacks along the edge. But I did not have that option. And this board is hard, heavy. I don't think it's an MDF. I think it's an HDF, which is high density fiber board. So I wasn't able to easily put a push pin through it. So I decided to go ahead and wrap it in craft paper instead. Okay. I opted not to paint it this time, and I was going to originally paint it when I bought this, but then I started to really fall in love with the picture. So I thought, you know what, let me just wrap it in craft paper. And also this way it's much faster. You know, you don't have to wait for paint to dry or anything. But of course it's a little bit more work. I know that sounds weird, but if you have no patience but diligence, go ahead and wrap it in craft paper. If you have patience and no diligence, then you go ahead and you paint it. But we just want to do that because the burlap is very open weaved and we don't want the picture to come through, to shine through. All right. So we're just decided to wrap this in craft paper. So if you have been around for a while and you saw the monogram wall art, we did this very similar technique, like I said, with the canvas. So you can jump over to that video. I'm going to link it in the description box down below so that you can see an alternative way to wrap the board. Do you like how the lights just went out? That's what happens every time the heater comes on in my house. Ugh, my craft room is just on the other side of the heater. So when the heat comes on, the lights dim. And you'll see in a few minutes the light will get bright again because, of course, the room came to temperature or whatever. It's crazy. But I'm just using hot glue and wrapping it like a gift. You can use tape if you want to. That's fine, because if you glue down the burlap, then the burlap will actually hold the paper anyway. I found this craft inspiration on Pinterest, which of course the one on Pinterest was a little different. So I've put my little twist on it. And if you can get a hold of a bigger canvas, the one on Pinterest is actually really neat because we're putting 3 strings. The one on Pinterest has a bunch of strings just going left to right that you can actually tuck pictures behind strings as well. So if you aren't on Pinterest and you guys want to share my Pinterest, I can link it in down below. Just let me know in the comments. I'm on Pinterest, the same name as everything else. You know, Jeri-Ann Henson. I'm on Pinterest, and I have a Dollar Tree craft board and a Dollar Tree dupe board, and then a bunch of other boards that are my photographs that I've took. It's a folder called My Portfolio, which I'm like an amateur photographer, so I have that, and then I have pictures of my home that was decorated when we first moved here. Yeah, I started to realize today that I have a lot of crafts that I've done over the years that I could show you guys, but I just, you know, I don't know that I could even redo them. You know, I know that sounds silly. Sometimes you can't even find the supplies anymore. But I think I could, if you guys want to see that. You let me know down below as well. I realized I have, you know, I've talked about Homemakers of America. I realized that I have crafts that I've won and crafts that I've made and I've taught how to do on there that you just really can't even get supplies for much anymore. But anyhow, so once you're done, this one, the canvas one from the monogram wall art had a sawtooth that we took out of the canvas. This one has a keyhole in the back. So you want to make sure that you don't cover your keyhole because you want to be able to hang this one. The canvas one, we actually took the sawtooth off because it hung from a ribbon. Now that's an option. You can do that same thing with this. You can actually make a hanger for this, glue a hanger on here. You can actually even hang it, suspended from a piece of burlap ribbon. That would be so pretty. But we're just going to do this quick and easy, all right? So I've cut down the burlap. This actually is a little tiny smaller than the canvas. The canvas was 8 by 8. This is like 7 by 7, so it's just a little smaller, but or 7.5. I measured it, but I don't remember exactly. But what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it pretty much the same way we did in the other video. I'm using the rows of burlap, the burlap rows, like the natural rows in the burlap, to line up the frame, the picture, so that it's sort of as even as possible. So when you turn it over, you don't have like a very wonky burlap, which I end up having a little wonky burlap anyway. But what do I always tell you guys? Country, farmhouse, handmade, it's supposed to look imperfect. It's perfectly imperfect. Now I'm using my scissor handle because I learned the last time when you glue burlap, you're going to burn your fingers. And I'm actually recovering from a burn from the lampshade. I don't know why I can never remember to buy some more of those double-edged silicone Dollar Tree, Betty Crocker spatulas. Somebody told me they used to hold down their glue and it peels right off of the silicone. I just always have to remember next time I'm in there, I've got to put a note on my phone. So we're just going to continue to glue this all the way around, you know, make the corners as neat as possible, make the edges as neat as possible. So I started to say before that the original inspiration for this from Pinterest had upholstery tacks on the edges of the frame that were actually holding the strings down, and it looked pretty because it was a nice finished upholstery edged, you know, a nice finished edge or whatever. But you know, upholstery tacks are not available at the Dollar Tree, so that this needs to be a Dollar Tree DIY. And like I said, there was no way I was hammering anything into the sides of this without, you know, knocking the thing apart. But so gluing method and tying method have turned out to be excellent alternatives. All right. And I'm just taking my time letting the glue dry. Again, you mind your fingers, be safe. I've also heard somebody say there's something called, I feel like she said it was called hot hands, which are like tools for glue gunning, you know. But if you know what I'm talking about, let me know. And we're doing a very similar corner technique than last time. We're pulling a little bit over from the side that is existing. We're going to go over the corner a little bit, and then we're going to pull down the side that we're working on to cover that corner. Sort of like hospital corners a little bit, you know, if you know what hospital corners are. And then we're going to repeat that for the other side. You can trim off your extra if you want, or you can just leave it. You can glue it down. As long as it's out of your way and neat, that's all you really need to know. All right. Now, this would look amazing on a bigger frame. I was started to think about that last night actually, when I was putting pictures on it. Because this is such a small frame, it'll only hold wallets and little tchotchkes and little stickers. But if it was on a grander scale, it would look amazing, like a memory board, like, you know, like the French memory board we did in the channel. Then I think that this would be amazing like that as well. And the original inspiration piece didn't have, as you'll see, the clothespins we're going to attach to the string. The original had it just that you could clip them on. But I wanted to make it to show you guys a technique that you wouldn't constantly be losing your clothespins. Because I've done this before, not this, but I've done similar things, and I'm always losing the little clothespins and the little hangers and stuff. So we used the little metal clothespin clip to slide the string through, so they'll always be hanging there. But you'll see that in a second. All right, and then just the final edges, wrap those corners. I thought that this would make a wonderful gift. I know that we're approaching wedding season, and I've had a couple of people ask me about different ideas for farm rustic weddings. But I think that this would be a great, if it was done on a grand scale. Like sometimes you can go to the thrift store and you can buy a big piece of art for like $2 or $3, which is just on a grand canvas. And you could still cover it with paper or paint it solid, and you could still cover it with burlap. You just need to buy burlap by the yard. And it would make a great display for, you know, pictures of the couple throughout the months, or basically, or even maybe like a memory thing for people who can't attend, you know, like maybe grandma passed, or your favorite uncle and he can't make it. So that would be another nice little touch. It would also be cute for seating charts. If you have those little Fuji instant Polaroid type film pictures, and you can hang them after they're taken, that would be really cute too. And you get 50 clips, you get 50 clothespins in that pack. So keep that in mind if you're going to do something for a wedding and, you know, for the guests, then maybe go ahead and get 2 packs and put them on. But that's it. Now I'm just cleaning up the edges. I'm gluing down the last little bits of loose areas. Sometimes I talk, I just sound weird. I'm so glad you guys like me. Okay, so then the next thing is to wrap the jute. Then we're going to find the mini clothespins and we're going to line them up. You know, my sister Jane saw it on a video one time. She's like, why aren't you taking the burlap from the inside like we do with the yarn? And it was like a head scratcher. It was like a face palm moment. I don't know why I wasn't doing that. But I've just basically super twisted the end. You can wet it if you want to. You can actually make a little glue needle if you want to. But you just super twist the end of the jute to thread it through the clothespin. I'm also showing you here that you can glue, put a little dollop of glue where the metal meets the wood. And if you want to do that, that just helps keep the clothespin from coming apart. Sometimes if you overuse these, the wood will slide out of the metal. That's like regular clothespins as well. And that's just something that you can really do to prevent any slippage. But I just did it on a couple to show you. The rest of them I just left. So we're just going to feed that basically right through the center of that metal clip on the clothespin. All right. And every once in a while I'll just have to retwist my jute tight to get it in that circle. And I decided on this size canvas that I was going to do 5 clothespins. I'm going to do 3 strings. I'm going to do 2, 1, and 2. And that's just the aesthetic that I was going for. And again, I know what I'm going to clip. If you just want to make this one picture to hold grandma, like one frame to hold grandma's picture, you could just put 1 string with 1 clothespin and then be done. Excuse me. But I wanted to make it so we can hang different things and we can change it out whenever we feel necessary. Okay? Sometimes your camera stops working because it's full of memory and you didn't realize how close you were to being full of memory. So here's what you missed. Pretty much the rest. So where I last left off, I was threading 5 of the clothespins through the silver portion, the silver circle, which is just an option, because if you notice, the clothespin actually has like the little thing that it can grab the string. I just like it this way, so they're always on there. You don't have to worry about losing them. And I did 5, so 2 across the top, 1 across the middle, and then 2 across the bottom. But that's whatever you want. If you know already what pictures you're going to put on yours, then you do what you need to do for yours. Customize it as you will. The what I did was I wrapped, it's one string. So now the sample or the inspiration piece was actually strung here, and then was some upholstery tacks were tacked in the end. And I was like, well, A, the Dollar Tree doesn't sell upholstery tacks, and B, why make it more difficult when you could just string it across the back? So I basically strung it 3 times, tied a huge knot from the beginning to the end, and then I worked it out. I worked it out to adjust it here and here and here, and then moved the clothespins so that they would be in the same places where they belong. And now I'll show you what it looks like. And that's it, everybody. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. It was quick and easy and inexpensive. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family. Anybody you know may be interested in making one of these. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. When you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever we upload a new video. And as always, you take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time.